Alright guys, we're in part 2 now, which is great. We're moving through this nicely. So the next thing we need to do is just get our background layer in. So there's two things that we could do here. There's actually lots of things we could do, but let's just look at two basic options. So if I go to layer at the top and then new and then solid, what this is going to do, it's going to create a solid color layer, which is going to be whatever color we set, and it's going to be in the size by default of the background. So what we could do is we could name this background, and then we can click on color and we can just change this to whatever color we like. So we could have maybe like a pink background like this, and press OK, and you can see down here we've got this solid layer and solid pink. So you could add text to that, but it looks a bit flat and a bit boring at the moment. So just a little bonus tip, if you do want to go down this route and not use an image, which we'll do next, let's just have a quick look at the gradient ramp. So if I go up to effects and presets on the right and I start to type gradient, you can see I've got gradient ramp, and I'm just going to drag this on here, or if I've got the layer selected, I can just double click on gradient ramp. So now gradient ramps come up and it's black and white, which is not what we want. Oops, excuse me. So if I click on the layer, and then you can see in the top left we've got effects controls. If you haven't got this, you may be on the project, just click effects controls, and we can change the start and the end color of the ramp. So I could click on start and make the start pink, and then I could click on the end color and I could make this like a darker purple. And then we've got a kind of more of a gradient and a better looking background. And then if we click these little targets, we can actually drag where the ramp starts, and we can drag this around. You could go there, and then you've got a nice sort of gradient. I think it looked better before, to be honest. You've got a nice sort of gradient. So this is one way to make your background. The next thing we're going to do is go over to Unsplash, which is a royalty-free image website. And in Unsplash, you can just search for a background, whatever you like. And it doesn't have to be, I'm just picking, I think I said beach vibes in my last one. So, or holiday vibes or something like that. So let's just type beach. And we could get anything, like any of these pictures really are going to be good. You want to consider that if you've got white text, which I'm going to just use basic white text, so I don't want the text to get lost in the background. So I'm looking for something that is going to be darker in the middle, and I think this might actually work quite nicely. And if not, then we can always make the backgrounds a little bit darker. So let's just click download free. Again, if you want to, you could do anything you like. If you want to go and make a gym image or ad, you could get this guy in the gym and put text on him, whatever you want to do there. And then all I'm going to do here is I'm going to click the download, and I'm going to drag this in and just drop it in the timeline at the bottom here. And you can see the image has gone into After Effects already. Now, here is quite an important key thing that we'll need to know. So I'm going to just click on my background layer and delete that because I'm not going to use that anymore. So if I click the layer here, there's a little arrow which drops down, and then transform drops down. Now this is really important, and it might look overwhelming, but it's going to be so simple very soon. So these properties are used on pretty much every layer in After Effects, and there's some key things that we need to note. So the small stopwatch here is a keyframe button, but before we go there, let's just press S on the layer, because you can see our layer is too big. So there's two things we could do. We could press S to get the scale property, and we can just drag the left number up or down. So just a quick thing to note here. At the moment, vertical and horizontal are scaling up and down. If we uncheck this little item, it's going to scale, but it's going to get distorted. So for now, we just want to make sure this is on, but believe it or not, it was a long time before I realized that's how you actually scale the different vertical or horizontal separately. So anyway, for now, we can either scale up or down, or if we click our layer and go to layer, transform, and fit to comp height, we don't want to fit to comp width because it's taller than the comp. So if we go to comp height, it's going to perfectly fit this layer to the comp height. and I can already see that the white text might not stand out there. So what we might need to do is put a little bit of a filter over it, but I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So for now, all we're going to do, we're going to press S. We're going to press this little keyframe icon, this little stopwatch, and it's going to mean at the start of the timeline, we're going to be at this scale. We're going to be 36.9 by 36.9. Now we're going to go to the end of the timeline. I failed to say in the last video, make sure this composition is 15 seconds. If you haven't done that, composition settings, and down here, this is at 15 seconds. So hopefully that doesn't cause you too many problems. So now all we're going to do is we're going to go to the end of the timeline. We're going to drag this number up a little bit, or you could type 42, maybe put it up sort of 6, and then you can see that it's set a little keyframe at the end as well. And as we drag through, it's going to give it a little sort of zoom, which I think looks really good. And then all we need to do is we just lock this background by clicking the little lock over here. And now if we accidentally try and drag it, or we try and click it, we can't because it's locked. And there we have our Instagram story background already in place. And in the next video, we're going to add our text.